I will be a little quick because we are almost 20 minutes late. So in fact, what I'm going to present is a study that we concluded in last year with WWF. So it was on technical textiles value chain mapping and SWOT analysis of Pakistani industry. So I will be answering 2-3 questions. The first one is why Pakistan's textile exports are stagnant. There's a lot of debate since morning. Then technical textile global market very quickly. Mainly it will be focused on technical textile value chain in Pakistan, SWOT analysis of technical textile industry, and the business opportunities in technical textiles for our industry. So we are like the second most dependent country on textile with respect to export in the world. 58% contribution to textile exports. Mr. Shahid Sattar corrected it in the morning that it has increased a little bit. GDP 8.5%, employment 45%. So these are the exports up to 2019, 2020. It was the same behavior. Almost the same behavior, and these are the exports of textile which are almost stagnant. So we are standing at number 10 or 12 with 14.53 billion US dollar of exports out of 978 billion US dollar. So a quick reminder of what Professor Tanveer has presented in the morning. Other countries, their exports have grown significantly, whereas Pakistan is stagnant. The textile exports of Pakistan are stagnant. If we look in the last 10 years, so China's exports have grown 48%, Vietnam 256%, India 64%, Bangladesh 177%, and Pakistan only 28% during the last 10 years, which is the poorest performance if we compare with the regional countries. So in fact, it's a national challenge to significantly increase textile exports of Pakistan. There are several limiting factors. I'm only sharing with you the names. The first one is market diversification. We are focusing a lot on US and European Union. If we look at the market of Japan, South Korea, then the East Asia, so it's about 100 billion US dollar of textile markets, and our share is almost negligible there. Our product range is very narrow, and what we are producing, in fact, it's not very high end. Our productivity, Professor Mann, he has talked about it. So we are standing nowhere. Our branding is not good. It doesn't exist. The technology that we are using in small and medium industries, mainly it's obsolete technology. Compliances is a big issue. The small and medium industry is finding very difficult to comply with the international standards. The number of exporters are very limited. It's only a small number of exporters in the textile. Other are only working for them. Law and order situation, it plays a lot of, in fact, very important role to make the image. Cost of utilities, it's high and it's increasing in again. Continuity of policies and stability, political stability, high interest rates, and lack of foreign direct investments. So my talk is mainly focusing on these two aspects, narrow product range and low-end products. So if we look at our current product range is conventional textiles. Pakistan's share in the global market, it's about 2.4%. These textiles are commodity textiles. There's a lot of market competition and profit margins are very low. So we are trying since like 6-7 years. Professor Tanveer, he has presented many times on the introduction of technical textiles. So these are performance textiles. I will not go into detail. There is a background. So Pakistan's share is about 0.3% in the $200 billion of market of technical textiles. So these are the technical textiles. These are the textiles with high performance and high profit margins. So in general, we divide technical textiles into 12 categories: mobile tech, tech, medical textiles, textiles for homes, packaging textiles, building textiles, construction textiles, you can say, agricultural textiles, cloth tech, sports tech, geotextiles, protection textiles, and auto tech. So here is something which is interesting. There is a market of 42 billion US dollar of mobile tech. So in the mobile automobiles, we are using textiles which have market about $42 billion. Then there is industrial textiles, then sports textiles, and then there are other about in the range of $10 million market. So if we look at product wise, 60% of the technical textiles, they are woven, either woven or knitted. Most of the Pakistani markets, they are dealing with this segment, the 60% of the segment. Then we have composite materials, 20%, and then non-woven, 20%. So our presence, the presence of Pakistani industry, it was not very significant in this segment, but it's increasing with the passage of time. So if we look at technical textiles, so unlike conventional textile, the contribution of Asia Pacific is very significant. So China, India, Pacific region, they are contributing about the market share of these region is about 63%. There is a misconception about technical textiles, about fibers. Whenever we talk technical textile, it's said that these are the textiles which are made using very high-tech fibers. It's not the case. If you look at this segregation, the share of cotton is about 7%, share of other natural fibers is about 15%. So the market that we are already focusing, the machinery that we already have, it can cater 22% and then polyester 26% of the technical textile market. So these are the different fibers that we use in technical textiles, in natural cotton, jute, hemp, flax, silk, and they are mainly used in different categories of technical textiles. We will be sharing these slides and video with you so you can have an idea that natural fibers as well, they are being used in technical textiles and for diverse applications, as well as man-made fibers. So technical textile stakeholders in Pakistan, if you look, there are large manufacturers that includes manufacturers of fibers, filaments, and then chemical manufacturers. We have polyester fiber manufacturers in Pakistan, otherwise other fibers we have to import. Mainly we are a converter industry. We import the fibers. I'm talking about technical textiles. So mainly we import the fibers or sometimes even fabric. We convert it and then we sell it to end use or to society. So in Pakistan, there are more than 200 SMEs and large scale manufacturers. Only few are dedicated, mostly they are conventional textile industries who are also working on technical textiles. One very encouraging phenomena for dedicated textile manufacturers is the non-woven manufacturers. In the last 2-3 years, due to this pandemic, the number of non-woven manufacturers, it has increased. For example, needle punch manufacturers, non-woven manufacturers, they have increased up to 2, SMS 4, spun bond 9, and spun lace 1. There are 2-3 units which are already in installation. So if we look at total fiber consumption of Pakistan, local production is about $3 billion US, $2.9 billion US, and we are still importing today $1.15 billion US. This amount will increase in this year due to less production of cotton. So our total consumption is about $4 billion US, and most of the fibers they are partially used in technical textiles as well. So if we look at overall road mapping, So we have fiber manufacturers. If you look at down, if there is one class, it means the number is less than 10. 11 to 20 manufacturers, 2 class, 21 to 53 class, and more than 50, there are 4 class. So for yarn spinning, we have more than 50 units. These yarns are being used in technical textiles like packaging textile, protective textile, medical textiles, and home textile. Synthetic fibers are used everywhere, but the yarn spinning units, they are between 11 to 20. Similarly, there are fabric manufacturers, large scale, there are not many, mainly they are small and medium scale. Composite materials is the same, textile processing. We don't have a lot of large scale manufacturers except in dyeing and printing. Coating is an area which is very deficient. And then in garments and stitching, we have like less than 50 large scale manufacturers of technical textiles. So here is, in fact, the trade of technical textiles by Pakistan. In these 12 categories, the global trade is 175 billion US dollar. Pakistan exports is about 447 million US dollar. It's less than $1 billion. If you look at our global share, in only in build tech, our share is, you can say, in not in decimal, it's more than 1%. Otherwise, we are less than 1%. In protect, it's near to 1%. Mainly, these are gloves. And Pakistan, in these categories, we are exporting about 447 million US dollar. So it means the base is there. We are still exporting. And at the same time, we are importing about 200 million US dollar. So our share is 0.5%. So in order to feed that 12 categories, we are importing fibers, yarns, and fabrics. So if we look at fibers, these are high-end fibers, it's about 40 million US dollar, technical yarns, 14 million US dollar, and technical fabrics, 62 million US dollar. So it's about 117 million US dollar of the raw material. So if someone is like only wishes to work for import substitution, so these areas, these are very important, technical fabrics and then technical yarns. So this is the picture of last 5 years only for end products. So we are like exporting around 450 plus minus 40, and the imports are about 200 million US dollar. If we go into detail, so for exports, our strengths are sports textile, protective textiles, build tech, and up to some extent, you can say medical textiles. And in imports, we are importing a lot in medical textiles. This is the portion that can be substituted very like quickly. So SWOT analysis of our technical textile industry. We have certain strengths. There's low cost of doing business in Pakistan due to low cost of labor. If you compare, as most of the technical textiles, they are not in Bangladesh or the low cost labor countries. We have reliable supplies of commodity raw materials is available. There is a high local demand of diverse products as well. The exporting environment since last 2 years is developing. So we can incorporate our technical textile industry in that. The infrastructure is already very good and it's there. We have like fiber to end product infrastructure. We only modify it a little bit. There is availability of basics, testing and certification. And the last one, which is very important, technical textiles mainly are knowledge textiles. So for that, you need R&D facilities and R&D support, which is available in Pakistan. NTU is one of them. We have NED, Mehran University, Butams. So they are there and they are supported. They have potential to support the industry which are situated in their areas. We have some weaknesses as well. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, the technical textiles are knowledge textiles. So if we want to produce a new product, so we need technical expertise. Uh, then for some of the products, you need exclusive technology, which is not available. For that product specific technical expertise, these are not available as well. For some high performance fibers and yarns, they are not available in Pakistan. Capital investment in technical textiles is very high, especially for SMEs. Testing facilities for advanced testing and validation of technical materials. There are many products which are still not available in Pakistan. If we want to do these tests, NTU is doing, in fact, doing great to bridge that gap, but still there are many tests which are not available. There is local demand in specialty sectors, which is not much. For example, if we talk about automobile sector, so we are producing annually 200,000 of automobile, and there's a lot of textiles which are being used in these automobiles. But what we are doing, we are importing these textiles. So we need to make policy, we need to force these auto manufacturers so that they use textiles for automobiles. They take it from the autos, they source it from the local market. So if they will be doing it, ultimately, this will boost the local industry. They will start substituting the import, and then they will be exporting as well. So we have opportunities. There is local market with some issues. Export potential is very high. And we can attract foreign direct investment as well. Our, in fact, position, geographic position is very important. And where we are sitting by using rule of origin, Chinese companies or other like companies from the region, they can invest in CPEC or in the port cities near to Pakistan, in the Pakistan, and they can use rule of origin in order to enhance their exports. There are threats as well. There is an increasing competition. If we talk about today, Bangladesh, Vietnam, they are not much, their presence is not very significant in technical textiles, but they are coming. So in 5 years, if we will not catch this train, so I fear that we will miss it. Political instability in the region, it's one of the threats. Increase in utilities and energy prices. Today in technical textiles, there is no doubt about that we are competitive. But if the cost of utilities and energy, it will be increasing. So this will not be the case. There are some materials on which there are controls of import and exports. There are a lot of duties and some materials, they are not allowed Pakistan, so government need to work on it. Depreciation of Pak rupees against US dollar for exporters is another threat. And we need to remove import tariffs on the raw material for technical textiles. The technology, as these textiles are knowledge-based textiles, and technology is changing very quickly, so we need more effort in technical textiles as compared to conventional textiles. So here are some business opportunities. I have shared only the top 10 technical textile export products in the globe. So if we look at first is sanitary towels or pads, this is a market of 116 billion US dollar. Pakistan share is only 0.02. I will make it a little like zoom. So top 8 products, 16 billion sanitary towels, then the textile for briefcase, 14 billion US dollar. You can look at Pakistan share. We are nowhere. Then mid-ups articles for 12 billion, safety airbags in flat systems, 12 billion, garments especially of non-woven, 10 billion US dollar, we are nowhere. Special garments for professional sports persons, 8.8 billion US dollar, we are nowhere. Only 14 million of exports. Carpets, sacks and bags, it's a market of 5.4 billion US dollar. We are exporting 57. So jutes, uh, Products Manufacturing Association, they are doing good. That's why our export share is 1.01%, but still there's a lot of potential. Track suits, ski suits, swimwear, 5 billion of market, 0.51% our share. Tarpaulin, awnings, etc., 5 billion of market, we have no share. Pharmaceutical goods such as sutures, $5 billion of market, we have no share. Narrow woven fabrics, 4.5 billion market, almost no share. Seat covers, 3 billion, no share. Gloves, mittens, $2.5 billion of market, our share is about 4.88%. So this is the only product in which we are in the top 5 manufacturer in the world. So this was in fact the global market. There's a lot of space. I have presented the data at the level of a product so that you can have an idea of business opportunity very quickly. So let's come to Pakistan, what we are doing. These are our top 10 technical textile products. We are doing good in gloves, 144 million US dollar, then sacks and bags, especially of jute, 57, then mid-ups, dress patterns, 47, tents, etc., 46 million. All these are in millions. Compression hosiery, 33 million, track suits, 27, and so on. And in the products that we are dealing in, 3 of the products, we are in the top 5 exporters of these products. But in fact, our choice of the products is not good. What we are focusing on, their world market is very less as compared to top technical textile products. So what we are importing? We are importing sanitary pads worth $40 million. So first opportunity for import substitution. $40 million is something which is big for a local industry. We can set up like 4 or 5 plants that work on manufacturing of sanitary pads, napkins, etc. Tire cord fabrics, 15 million US dollar. In fact, for industry, for textile industry, it's strange. We are textile manufacturers and still we are importing 15 million US dollar of tire cord in order to make tires. Label and badges, 13 million US dollar. It's again an opportunity, and believe you me, this will be increasing with the passage of time. As what we are expecting, our garments exports will be increasing in next 2-3 years. So this one, it will almost double in the next 2-3 years. So it's also a good business opportunity. Then pharmaceutical goods, 10 million US dollar, mid-ups, 9 million US dollar. For cases, 8 means suitcases, 8.6 million US dollar, carpets, 7.8 million US dollars, narrow fabrics, 7.5 million US dollar, weddings, 7.3 million US dollars, and again, cordage or ropes, 5.4 million US dollars. So all these can be substituted easily. The technology is available in Pakistan. The materials are available in Pakistan. The only thing that which is missing is the knowledge. So we can help, and you can help in that in order to bridge that gap. So in technical textiles, the knowledge gap is there in our conventional industry. So we can help in that in order to bridge that gap. We have National Textile Research Center, which is a state-of-the-art facility, Advanced Textile Research and Innovation Center, especially for technical textiles, woven product lab, Park Korea Technical Textile Center. We are going to initiate its second phase as well. We have non-woven coatings and all the relevant facilities. So what we can support you It's by training the human resource, product development, in testing, in trainings, and we can help you in developing business feasibilities. Thank you very much for your attention. As I have mentioned earlier, I would like to thank WWF. The study was supported by them. The study to explore and assess the existing supply chain in textiles of Pakistan for producing and exporting technical textiles. This was only a brief of that. There's a lot of data, there's a lot of opportunities which are mentioned in this report. This will be available online and in hard form very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yasir Nawab Saab, for a very self-explanatory presentation. We have a very quick question posted by Mr. Abdul Samad Gill. He's asking what factors are limiting our growth in technical textiles. As we see from the last 5 years, it is almost at the same level.
In fact, there are many factors which are limiting. The first one is raw material. Then the know-how. The third thing, which is very important, is that how to sell and where to sell. If we know that where to sell